Hello everyone, International Rations here again, and today what I have for you is this single meal Polish ration. This one is the menu 6, and you can see the contents list right there. But without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this. Alright, here we go. Alright, first up we have this can. Not sure what this says, but I'll translate everything later. Alright, we have this rather smashed, smaller tin here. Alright, it looks like this is our portable chemical heater, flameless chemical heater. Alright, I believe this is some sort of an instant concentrate for maybe a soup or a tea. We've got a package of SU1 Rusks. We have a straw, interestingly enough. We have a little contents pack here with some accessories. Let's see what we have. Alright, first up we have a waste bag. Alright, it looks like this is just some tissue paper. Alright, this is a single-use wet wipe. And it looks like we have a couple of candies here. Alright, that looks like it's in Polish. Alright, this is in Polish as well, but I believe it's a mint gum. I believe this is some sort of a coffee candy. And then we have some salt and pepper. Alright, it looks like this is our main course. I see a Kielbasa, which I believe means sausage. And that's a 300-gram package. We have a spoon and a napkin. We have another package of these Rusks. Alright, we have what would appear to be a chocolate bar. And that is everything for the ration. I'm going to go ahead and get some of this plated and translated, and I'll see you there. Alright, so here we are. This translates to an English stew, and I believe it's some sort of a pate. This is a cabbage and Polish sausage dish. And then this is a fruit and cereal bar, and I believe it's a cherry flavor. This is a lime tea, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare that right now. Alright, here we go. Has very odd looking kind of pellets to it. Gonna go ahead and combine this with 250 milliliters of cold water as per instructions. Alright, let's go ahead and use our spoon to stir that. On second thought, we can actually use the straw they provided. It looks like a regular plastic restaurant straw. Alright, and while we wait for that to settle down and combine, let's go ahead and get this flameless ration heater started up. Alright, here we go, and this dish, by the way, is 300 grams. Alright, and it says after 12 minutes that should be ready to eat. Gonna go ahead and give it a little bit of shake, then I'll let it down there. Alright, we might as well go ahead and try some of this fruit bar. Alright, it has some sort of a paper here. I believe this is a edible rice paper. I'm going to go ahead and double check on that, and let's see if this is edible. Alright, so I couldn't find out anything for sure, but I'm pretty sure this is a edible rice paper. So I'm going to go ahead and say a quick prayer, and then we'll get right into that. Alright, here we go. Let's hope this isn't foam. It has a very fruity flavor. It definitely does taste like a cherry or maybe some sort of a raspberry or something like that. Has a very strong flavor, and it also has a bit of a grain or a wheat flavor to it as well. Overall, it's really quite good. I'm going to go ahead and give it another couple bites here. Overall, I quite like it. It has a very a dense, sort of compressed texture to it. You can tell they really pack in a lot of fruit and grain and whatever else is in there in this smaller bar. So it should be plenty dense and have quite a bit of energy and calories in it. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and get on to the next item. I went ahead and finished up the cranberry bar, and I'm still trying to wait for these pellets to dissolve. They're almost completely dissolved, so I'm going to give it a little stir and then let it settle, and it should be fine after that. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and try some of these rusks along with the jam. And as far as I know, these rusks are identical to the Lithuanian ration crackers that we've had in the past. So I believe these are the exact same, and the packaging definitely looks the same. Without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and break off a little piece of this and see if it's any good. Alright, very firm. And that definitely tastes familiar. Tastes just like the ones in the Lithuanian ration. It has a very unique taste to it, and it has a harder, more baked outer shell, and then a bit more of a soft, and it has a bit of a different taste in the inside. It tastes almost like they maybe have some sort of vegetable starch or something like that along with the wheat. Has kind of a very slight vegetable taste to it, as well as the normal wheat and kind of cracker taste. Overall, it's pretty good. It's definitely unique, and it's maybe not the best ever, but it's very unique and it's not bad at all. Next up, though, let's go ahead and try this jam. This jam is blueberry flavor, if the packaging is correct. Alright. You can tell it was under pressure, so it should be perfectly preserved. Alright, definitely looks like a blueberry jam, and it looks extremely good. It's quite firm. I'm going to go ahead up and try to stir this up a little bit. Alright, let's try this jam out. It has a very pleasant blueberry flavor to it. It's not too bitter, but it's definitely a strong blueberry flavor. It's fairly coarse, and you can definitely tell there's real blueberry in here. Overall, it's a really good jam, and it has a very strong flavor. I'm going to go ahead and try it with a little bit of this cracker. Alright, here we go. The cracker is a bit difficult to bite into, especially when you're trying to get a big bite. But overall, the jam and the cracker pair really well together. And I think the blueberry jam really counteracts that kind of odd flavor that the cracker has to it. So overall, it's a really great combination, and I'm going to be finishing this up. And then we should be getting on to this English stew, which I believe is a pate, but there's only one way to be sure. And before we get into that English stew, I'm going to go ahead and try this tea. It looks like it has been completely dissolved, so let's go ahead and see how this tastes. A very unique flavor. It's a very pleasant tea. I really like it. It doesn't have that strong or bitter of a lime flavor. It's rather subtle, and there's a very nice, flavorful, kind of a sweeter tea flavor to it. Overall, it's a very great drink and extremely refreshing. The only problem is that it's only 250 milliliters, which it's adequate, but it's not that big, especially for a big meal like we have today. But overall, it's a really good drink, and I really like the flavor. Next up, we have this English stew. And I must say that FRH looks like it's doing its job very well. I can see it in the background, and it looks like we are going to have a very hot meal ahead of us. Alright, and here we go. Definitely looks like a pate. Alright, it's quite dense and firm. Let's go ahead and see if this is any good. I'm not 100% sure what flavor this is, but I believe it's pork. That's a very nice and pleasant meat flavor to it. It's honestly really good. I'm going to go ahead and give it another bite here. And I definitely really like that flavor. You could definitely eat this out of the can without any problems at all. You don't need any sort of cracker or anything to go with that if you don't have it. It has a very nice flavor. I would say it tastes like a bit like Spam, but it's a lot better and there's no strong salt flavor to it. Definitely has a little bit of salt, but it's not that overbearing saltiness that's in Spam. It's just a really nice and pleasant kind of light pork flavor to it. Overall, it's really great, and I'm going to try it with a little bit of this cracker. Alright, here we go. It's honestly just a nice pork pate, and it would really go pretty well with anything. The only complaint is that it is a little bit too mild for the cracker, and the cracker flavor definitely does overpower it just a little. Overall, though, it's a really great combination, and I'm really enjoying this pate. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then we should be ready for the main course. That was quite an excellent pate, but I believe our main course should be just about ready. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out carefully and see if it's nice and hot. Alright, it's definitely warm in there. I believe this is about ready to eat. Let's go ahead and get this plated. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab this and try to wipe out our tray, which has a little jam in it. And it's a nice long roll of toilet paper. Assuming you get one of these in each ration, it should be plenty of tissue paper and toilet paper to get you through the day. Alright, and it works pretty well for clearing jam up. Let's go ahead and get this plated. I believe this is a cabbage and sausage stew, so it sounds really interesting and it sounds pretty good as well. Let's go ahead and get this on the tray. Alright, here we go. Alright, and here's our meal. It looks like it's sliced sausage with a large serving of ground cabbage. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. It's quite a nice taste to it. It's nothing overpowering in any way, and the sausage and the cabbage both work well together. I would say the larger flavor overall would be the sausage, and it does look like they give you quite a bit of that as well. The cabbage is just kind of there in the background, giving you a nice extra flavor. Overall, it's really good, and I'm going to go ahead and take another couple bites. Flavor-wise, it's nothing to write home about necessarily, but it's a very kind of down-home type of meal, a nice filling stew. Overall, it's really good. I'm definitely going to be going ahead and finishing it, and then we can get on to the rest. Okay, and I finished up that main course, and I will say it was pretty good. Like I said, the flavor isn't necessarily bursting, but I think that's honestly a pretty good design choice, since it's the kind of meal that almost anyone could eat without disliking it. It has a nice, pleasant flavor, but it's not so strong that if you didn't like a certain flavor in it, you couldn't eat it. It was a pretty great meal. Almost everything was perfectly cooked. So overall, a pretty good meal, and I must say this has been a very filling ration. One of the most filling single meal rations I've had so far. You get plenty of meat between the pate and the main course. You also get crackers and some very nice tasting jam, as well as an energy bar and a nice drink. And on top of all that, you also have a couple of these candies, which I'm going to go ahead and try right now. This one is a vitamin C candy. Alright, it has a yellow hue to it and a bit of a glossy finish. Let's go ahead and see if this is any good. It has a very pleasant citrus kind of lemon flavor to it. I really like it. It's a nice sweet lemony candy, and it gets you some of that vitamin C, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then we can try the other candies as well. Alright, so after you get past the kind of hard outer layer, it's actually a soft inside, which was really nice. You get to chew on that for about 30 seconds or so, and then it's gone. Really nice if you don't want to wait around for it to dissolve. But next up is this chocolate candy. I'm not sure if this is a hard candy or a soft, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this in my mouth, and we're going to find out. It's a hard candy, and it has a really nice kind of roasted coffee flavor to it. It's a very pleasant and enjoyable candy, especially if you like coffee, which I do. It's great candy, and it's always nice to have something to chew on or have in your mouth on long marches. I would imagine it's really nice not only to take your mind off of it and just have something to taste, but it's also probably very nice to try to keep your mouth from drying out. Alright, and that does it for this ration, and I must say it's one of the best single meal rations I've ever had, if not the best. Everything was very well thought out in my opinion, and there was more than enough food here. You have a 100-gram pate and a 300-gram main course, not to mention all the sides, cranberry bars, candies, and tea you get. Very well thought out. You also get plenty of toiletries with a lot of toilet paper, a napkin, and a wet wipe. The candies were a nice touch as well, and they also include salt and pepper. The main course was definitely one of the better ones I've had, and the pate and jams were absolutely excellent. The only thing that I would honestly do that could possibly improve this is maybe just give it a little more tea. Honestly, other than that, there's nothing you could really do. That does it for this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a like as well as a comment with some rations to try in the future. If you didn't like the video, feel free to give it a dislike and a comment with some constructive criticism on how I could improve. If you're interested in seeing videos like this from me in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button. I have some really interesting international rations lined up for the future, including a Dutch, a French, and a Spanish ration. I'm really looking forward to those. The very next video I plan on doing is a Menu 8 US MRE. It's meatballs in marinara sauce. I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you are as well, and I hope to see you there.